unfortunately start this whole thing over again. But all right, so I'm going to take a moment to talk about the current meta of cheaters in CS:GO. So the meta in CS:GO currently is that cheaters don't roll by themselves anymore. They also don't really do like just two of them in a game. Instead, what the cheaters do now is they do five stacks every time. Usually because they're boosting one or two people in the five stack. And then also they'll have two people who queue at the same time and get in the same game. And they're also cheaters. They're cheating, but they'll always be ahead of the team. And when you watch them clutch, it's like the other team is cheating until this person needs to clutch that's an imposter. And now, first they do a skinless knife inspect to signal, let me clutch this, because the other cheaters can see that. But a normal person can't see that. You can't see that unless you're observing someone's first person's perspective. But cheaters can see inspects. So then they know to throw the round, and then they throw, and then you see people who are like clearly playing impossibly good. Suddenly they're making only the stupidest mistakes and turning their back towards the imposters on your team. So the cheaters, they all queue together. There's a five stack. They queue. Very likely what they do is four of them ready and one doesn't. Then you have the imposters. And the imposters are people that are on the other team that are working with the cheaters. So the imposters, usually there are two or more. They used to do one, but I started blowing that up and people realized that they were imposters. And then it's easy to kick them because it's 4v1. You have four people that realize there's an imposter on the team working with the other team, and then they all just kick them. So then what the cheaters started doing recently is that they started having two or more imposters because now you can't kick them. And they can establish more false narratives with the people that are playing the game by pretending like they don't know each other, but they're still backing each other up. And all of that works for them until you point out that they're cheating, you point out who the imposters are, and if they are boosting someone, like they're smurfing people, then what ends up happening is the people that are getting smurfed get ashamed. They feel so bad when you call out what's happening, and sometimes they'll leave, sometimes they'll even tell you, but like they're not what they're saying isn't you're not supposed to take what they're saying at face value. You're supposed to understand what they're actually trying to tell you about. Like they'll say things like, don't hire these guys to get smurfed because that's what's happening. They hired people to smurf, then you called out that they're cheating along with the smurfing and that there are imposters on the other team, and then they feel so ashamed that they out themselves. But mostly they out the cheaters. So when you're playing and you queue with three or less people in your stack, then you're practically guaranteed to get five cheaters on the other team and at least two imposters on your team. And the imposters, generally what they do is they either pretend like they like you at first to build trust so that later on they can be like, oh, fuck this guy, and then like convince everybody to be against the overwatchers. So like aside from smurfing, the main goal of the cheaters is to get overwatchers deranked because overwatchers can't overwatch if they go below gold nova. If they're in silver, like as an overwatcher, if I go into silver, I cannot watch overwatch demos. And it's the same way for all overwatchers. So the cheaters don't want overwatchers handing out bans. And one thing that you have to realize immediately upon the realization that the cheaters are trying to derank the overwatchers is that the narrative that's been established that overwatch bans don't accomplish anything is 100% a cheater narrative. They're cheaters, they're lying. They want everyone to get the impression that overwatch bans don't matter because they do. They matter more than vac bans. When a vac ban happens, it's automated. So as far as life is concerned, it's practically the same as the cheats that they're running, which is also automated. But when it's an Overwatch ban, it's repeated manual will. There are multiple Overwatchers for every Overwatch ban, and they agree. Because of that, if you get Overwatch banned, your ass is out of competitive forever. It doesn't matter if you switch accounts. That's also why cheaters love to say stupid shit like, oh, just switch accounts, because they can't switch accounts if they get Overwatch banned. They can only switch accounts if they get VAC banned. And I don't know if it's always that way with the VAC ban. It might be the case that once they get banned the second time, then they're just done. But with the Overwatch ban, Overwatch only has oversight on competitive matchmaking. So if you run casual games as well, you might notice that there are a lot of cheaters around recently. That's because they keep getting Overwatch banned. They can't switch accounts to play on competitive matchmaking. So instead, they go to like Danger Zone and casual games because those are the only ones that Overwatch doesn't have oversight over. So they don't actually get banned from it. Like that account gets banned. But as far as the manual will and the rules of the universe, they're not technically banned from casual by the Overwatch, which is like an oversight with Overwatch, by the way. If Valve made it so that Overwatch bans extended into casual and had Overwatch on casual games, then 100% everyone that's already Overwatch banned would not be able to participate in public games either, in casual games, because they're already banned. And then Overwatch gets oversight on the other game modes, and now they're banned from everything. So you start playing matchmaking with a 3-stack or less, then you're practically guaranteed to have 2 imposters on your team that are also cheating. You can freely report them, by the way. And though they're just gonna, like I said, so they're gonna try and either be fake friendly just so that later on they can poop on whoever the Overwatcher is, which I'm pretty sure at this point they can see that with their cheats. And that's how they choose who they're hunting on the other team, the other cheaters. And that's also how the imposters choose who they're going to troll and who they're going to turn the team against. So they either pretend to be really nice just so later they can turn on you, or they're just trolling the whole fucking time. Constantly putting down the Overwatchers that are in the group, trying to make people feel dumb and trying to manipulate the rest of the team that isn't imposters into turning against the Overwatchers, usually so that they can go for a kick, and then hopefully that will result in a competitive cooldown where you also can't Overwatch. If you have a competitive cooldown, you can't Overwatch ban. You can't watch Overwatch demos. So they're clearly targeting Overwatchers. And they at the same time present this false narrative, which they're cheaters. Obviously, they're going to be fucking lying. So at the same time that they're trying to make sure that Overwatchers have competitive cooldowns so that they can't Overwatch ban, or they get deranked so that they can't Overwatch ban, at the same time they're trying to convince everybody that Overwatch bans don't matter. So that should be a red fucking flag that they do matter. They matter a lot. They matter so much the cheater can't come back. They have to go to casual games or Danger Zone. It doesn't matter what account they go to. Life says you were manually exited from this community. So you're gone. You cannot come back. Their will does not allow them to come back because life says no. So that's important to know if you're an Overwatcher. Like, you got to watch out. They're going to be targeting you. They're going to be trying to make sure that you're not in Gold Nova or above so that you can't hand out Overwatch bans. And you need to make sure that you're above Silver so that you can, because it does matter. That, and you have to be mindful of the imposters on your team. I highly recommend that if you've gotten to the point where, with empathy, where you can tell when someone else is cheating. It's like a clear violation of life, so you can feel the difference when someone's cheating. On top of that, if you understand the game, then you can just tell they're cheating because they keep making decisions that only make sense if they have more information. When that happens, 100% call them out. The way that I do it is I just call them out, then I wait for them to give their bullshit subject change response, and then I just say like, oh, I noticed you didn't say I was wrong. And then all the cheaters shut the fuck up after that. They can't say that I'm wrong because they're cheating. So you call them out on that. Call out the imposters for sure. Once you've done both of those things, there's a very high likelihood that if they were smurfing, they'll leave. If they weren't smurfing, sometimes they'll leave anyway. They're so ashamed that you're able to actually call them out and you're not falling for any of their stupid gimmicks, like having imposters on your team that are trying to manipulate everybody into thinking that falsehood is true and truth is false. Once you get past that point, then you have like at least a better chance of getting through your matchmaking games without having to deal with so much grief. Because you just grief them back. It's balance, karma. You can do it as much as you want. They're cheating. You don't have to show them any mercy. They're not supposed to be cheating. It's a falsehood. So to go along with that, I will explain just quickly. For those of you that have a friend that you know that you can trust, that you like to do wingman with, or you have a 5-stack that you would love to roll with, but you're sick and tired of the cheaters, I'm going to give you that one anti-cheat that you need. You don't even need to change anything. Steam is already set up for anti-cheating. It's just that nobody understands that yet, because it involves life rules that people don't understand. But I understand, so I'm about to explain to you. I'm not going to explain everything to you. I'm just going to tell you how it works, and you'll have to try it for yourself. And then I'll just give you the basic premise, which is that only truth can be repeated. All truth is repeating. Falsehoods do not repeat. That's life. That's when people talk. That's events in life. That's everything in life. Falsehoods cannot be repeated. So with that, first you have to understand the lineage of where the natural anti-cheat comes from, which is Fightcade. I also play a lot of Street Fighter 3 Third Strike. There are a lot of cheaters on there. Cheaters hate me. I'm pretty sure at this point that somehow the cheaters know that I'm going to figure out, or that I was going to figure out all these things. And so they were just like getting in my way the whole fucking time. But actually they were helping me understand cheating more, because they were cheating against me a lot. They were like running my character, Ibuki. There are like barely any people that play Ibuki, but they kept making new accounts and then just cheating. And then like I'm rolling Ibuki and doing the same things as them. I'm like, see, like this move isn't safe. But you just keep doing it. It's not punishable. And then they switch characters to some character that I don't play, so that now I can't do that. So they're like cheating a lot. And one day I was sitting there and I was like approximating towards this idea of like, there's like a way to beat the cheaters. I just don't know what it is yet, but it's there. And I was constantly setting myself to a way on Fightcade, not knowing how that would play, like how that would be a factor in any of this. What ended up happening was I realized that some of the accounts on Fightcade that you challenge to fights are actually just bots. They're just cheating the whole time. It's just a bot. You play against it, it's cheating. They don't talk to you because they're a bot. And then one fateful day, I logged into Fightcade, and I set my status to away, not really thinking about it consciously. And then I went to challenge a bot instinctively, and they immediately rejected. And then I was like, uh-oh, I'm about to figure something out that's really fucking important. So I challenged them again, and they immediately rejected. I'm like, how come the bot's immediately rejecting? And then I challenged another bot, and it immediately rejected. And I was like, oh, I'm right on something. Then I started challenging people that I knew were cheating. And then they would decline after a few seconds. And then I kept challenging more people, and then I realized, oh my god, if you're away and you challenge someone that has cheated against you, they cannot accept the challenge unless they turn off their cheats. And I communicated this to the Fightcade chat, and there are other people who are also getting annoyed with the cheaters, also keeping track of who are bots and who are cheaters, and they immediately confirmed that I was right. They were like, oh my god, that's it, dude. What the fuck? They can't accept your challenge while you're away. And all of the cheaters got really mad. Practically everyone on Fightcade started setting their status to away, and then cheaters started trying to come in and be like, why is everybody away? You guys shouldn't do that. Then Justin Wong made a video where at the beginning he says that he always challenges from away, and I was like, oh, 100%, everybody knows now. Everybody that plays Fightcade knows now. I'm 100% correct. You set your status to away. If someone has cheated against you, they can't cheat again. They can cheat against you once because only truth is repeating, so they can do their falsehood once. But after that, they can't accept the challenge unless they turn off their cheats. Along with that, I also realized very quickly that people sometimes would drop, and other people would point out when they dropped after challenging them from away. So there's like a rule in life about if there's a contest and everyone is away, no one can accept the challenge. If you set yourself to away and the other person's cheating, they're also away. Their presence is away because something else is doing the work for them. So life goes, well, everybody's away, so who the fuck is accepting the challenge? You can't accept. The cheaters started realizing this right before I figured it out, by the way, and they were antagonizing the shit out of me. But it didn't stop me from figuring out that that's how it works. On top of the fact that they can't accept the match until they turn off all their cheats and will to not use them, if they go against that and turn their cheats on, like they toggle, because people toggle in Street Fighter and other Fightcade games, just like they toggle in CS, where they're like not cheating, and then they turn their cheats on, either because they're losing or they're just trying to hide the fact that they're cheating, so they're not going to have them on the entire time. If they try to toggle on after they accepted the match while you were away and they've already cheated on you, the game literally kicks them immediately. They immediately get dropped. The same thing happens in CS. Oh yeah, that's where I'm going with this. Because once I was done doing all of my science with Fightcade, I realized I needed to come back to CS. And then I realized that Steam has an away status. Then I would go on to do solo queues as away and notice that there was no change. But I quickly approximated to, oh, your whole team has to be away. In Fightcade, your team is one person, so it's always that way. But in CS, it's a team-based game, so it's not always that way. So originally the plan was to get to 5s. I still want to get to 5s and have 5 people that I can trust doing it to confirm. But we eventually realized that Wingman was good enough. So Vendetta and I went into Wingman. First, he set his status to offline because he didn't understand that I'm saying the status is away. Life cares about away. It doesn't care about not being active. It cares about away because it's a double entendre. Their presence is away. You're away. Who's going to fucking accept the challenge when everybody's away? But also, like an atheist, means not or anti. Like an atheist is not a theist. There's someone who doesn't believe in an all-knowing, all-powerful, all-good God. That's what an atheist is. And then way, like Jesus is the way, means of God or of truth. So a way is actually a double entendre. It doesn't just mean that your presence is a way. It also means that you're not of truth. So this double whammy, life goes like, nope, you can't do that. That's not truth, and only truth is repeating. Falsehoods cannot be repeated. So while it works different in CS, where you can't like just be alone and then be away and then it like works, it actually only works different because it's a team-based game, and that actually makes it like better in a way. Because for that first game, they definitely cheated against us. I was the only one that was away. Then I corrected Vendetta and I told him life doesn't give a fuck about offline. It cares about away. And then he changed his status to away. For the next 6 games, we didn't get any cheaters. We got people that clearly wanted to cheat. We got people who clearly tried to toggle on and got disconnected just like they would on Fightcade. And we got people who tried to throw stupid narratives at us like, oh, we don't know what we dropped, and we just suck. Like 3 rounds in, they're like, we just suck, and they just start throwing because they're planning on cheating, but something's preventing them from cheating, which is that we were both away. So if your whole team is away in Counter-Strike, 5-stack, 2-stack, it doesn't fucking matter. If your whole team is away, the other team can't cheat, period. It's not like Fightcade where they get 1 cheat. Why? Because only truth is repeating. So for them to cheat against one of you in a team-based game is to cheat against all of you, which is repeating. And life goes, nope, you don't even get the 1, because you'd have to cheat multiple times to be cheating 1 time. So you don't even get to cheat once. It's actually better. In Fightcade, they get to cheat against you once. In Counter-Strike, they only get to cheat against you if your whole team isn't away. Once your whole team is away, Steam becomes the ultimate anti-cheat. They can't cheat against you. You're all away. In order for them to cheat against any of you, they'd have to cheat against all of you. And they're away if they're planning on cheating. Even if they're not cheating, but they know that someone else is cheating, life's like, that's good enough. You're still cheating. You're still away. So know that. Take your 5 stacks, set your status to away if you want to try this. If you don't want to try this, you're probably a cheater. Straight up. If your response to this is there's no way that's true, you're 100% a cheater. Just trying to steer narratives and manipulate people. The cheaters already know that I'm right, and they're just going to try and stop other people from realizing that I'm right. But setting your status to away literally doesn't rob you of anything. So there's really no reason not to do it. You can just set your status to away Then you can play games against other people. Your whole team has to be away. This is another thing to watch out for. If you have imposters in your social circle, they're gonna say stupid shit like, "Oh, I don't really use friends," and like try to come up with excuses to get away from it. By the way, that's how you know the cheaters are aware. Is that they're like, I don't want to mess with my friends list. They know that it works already. And also, in Fightcade, the cheaters couldn't even accept you while being away. Apparently, that's good enough for life because it goes like, well, there are two instances of people being away. There's you're cheating, so you're away, but you're also away. And there are only two contestants, so who's accepting? And it's likely the same exact way with Steam because why would it be any different? So there's really nothing for you to lose by setting your status to away as long as you have a full 2 stack for Wingman or a full 5 stack for regular competitive classic CS or modern CS, I guess. Classic CS is 4v4, but there is no 4v4 format. So 5v5 and 2v2, all 5 or all 2 have to be away. Then you start the matchmaking, and the other team can't cheat. Period. That is how life works. Good luck. All right, let's